I've got my friend in the studio, and Thursday is radio day, and he's all over your social media because the coolest thing about this content is that you can get it anywhere on your phone, on YouTube, in the papers daily. And of course, Thursday, it's dedicated to radio. I'm hanging out with big boy Trev. What's good?
What's good? What's happening?
Good to see you.
Good to see you. It's Thursday, and you know what Thursday is.
Thursday, it's all about cars. Whether you love cars, you want to learn about cars, you fancy cars, you've been, experiencing the content that we have all over social media, then you get to see Trev live on the Spice Drive every single Thursday. It is about 15 minutes to top of the hour, and you can stream spicefm.co.ke. How have you been?
I've been good.
And there's no traffic.
There's a lot of traffic, especially on Mombasa Road.
It's the award. It gets the award for worst traffic daily. But I'm glad you made it on time. And today's conversation is such a good one. And it's all about how people drive.
Yes.
And I don't know about you. I don't know if you've experienced the last hour before, the end of the curfew. The beginning of the curfew. Between 7 and 8. What we call reckless driving.
Yes.
You can see it's like people go nuts. It's like the end of the world. And today we want to put focus on how people drive.
Yes.
It's a good conversation to have. Have you experienced that, what I'm talking about?
Yes. In fact, was it the other day?
Yeah.
I was in traffic. So I just come from shooting.
Yes.
And I was in traffic. So you find people become like they're agitated. It's 7 o'clock.
Right.
There's so much traffic and they're trying to cut corners, which I think is a bit reckless in my view. Just be patient. The traffic will flow. If you get to not be patient, then the chances of you having an accident are pretty high. So please be safe.
Very nice.
Yes.
I love that you said that. And of course, we continue to tell you to social distance, wash your hands, wear your mask as you go about your business, and make sure you plug in on your favorite station. Nairobi 94.4, Nakuru 96.0, and Nyeri 90.9, Kisumu 102.5, Malindi 97.7, Mombasa 87.9, and Eldoret 96.7. And I just want to shout out Mike, you're celebrating your birthday today. And you want me to organize a day that you can come over and meet Big Boy Trev. Huge fan of the show, a follower of yours on Instagram.
Yes.
Where else can we get your content throughout the week?
Now, starting with, Wednesday is when I write about cars on the Motor Digest on the Standard newspaper. So you get 2 full pages of content. Any car content that has been done on CBBT will also appear on the newspaper.
Right.
Thursday, which is today, Radio Day, it's more of an engagement for the pages now. We keep on talking about the different aspects of the motoring industry, and we got people calling in and just giving us, feedback. And then on Friday, it's on the Nairobian. And then Sunday, the big deal. CBBT every Sunday 6:30 p.m. on KTN Home. You get to experience the best in Kenya motoring. I give you tips on how to maintain your vehicle, and of course, give you the world. What is the world doing as far as electric cars are concerned and things like that. So, plenty to watch. Make sure you tune in on Sunday.
I love every format. Whenever you're doing a product like this, it's very exciting because there's people like me who have come a long way when it comes to how much I know about cars. Yes, I'm hanging out with Big Boy Trev, car enthusiast and host of Cars with Big Boy Trev. That's on KTN Home. Do follow at Trey Sticks F1. Today we're talking about driving habits that ruin your vehicle. And it's not just getting in, buckling up,
and going,
playing your favorite song, and getting moving.
Yes.
What does this entail? What are we talking about today?
There are quite a number of habits that people do, knowing or unknowingly, that end up denting your wallet and ruining your vehicle. And the first one I'd like to just point out, and I think I mentioned in one of the first shows that I did, is driving on low fuel. You see, when the gauge is on E, it doesn't mean enough. It means please go to the next petrol station and fill up. Because once you're driving on reserve, the chances of you ruining your fuel pump are extremely high, because the fuel pump itself is a motor. Like, remember the motor? Yes. The one like you probably find on a radio cassette back in the day. So it's a bigger motor, and it is bathed in the fuel. So the fuel sort of cools it. So when you're running extremely low, the levels now reach the motor and it becomes to overheat, and chances of it burning are extremely high. And the cost of a fuel pump, not cheap. Even for a regular Toyota, you're talking about 25 to 30,000 bob.
Oh, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. So just a quick indicator, just to avoid you running very low, just know when the first light comes on, when you're driving, just know you have about 60 kilometers. So start planning your journey towards a petrol station. When the second continuous light comes on, you have half, 30 kilometers. And then it comes on now continuously, you have about 15 kilometers to dead. So make sure that you fuel up. I know times are hard and fuel is expensive, but it's also good to plan ahead. Don't run your vehicle at the risk of, ruining and making your financial budget become ballooned when you're servicing your vehicle. So do that.
Right.
Another thing is driving with the handbrake. Now, that one happens to many, many people.
Men or women?
Everyone. Sometimes because of life and pressure and things,
Right.
you just get into the car and go. And it's even worse these days that we have electronic park brakes. So it's like a button. The goodness is with the newer vehicles, when you just step on the gas, it will disengage. But for the manual cars, you find somebody driving with the handbrake for almost, 300, 400 meters and not feeling the traction. So basically what happens is it ruins the brake shoe. The brake shoe is basically the housing where the brake is. So when you extend it, it holds correctly, tight, so the wheel doesn't move. So when you sort of force the vehicle to drive and it's on park brake, it wears out the brake shoe and your brake becomes ineffective when you need it. Especially, for example, if you're driving a manual car and you're doing a hill start, you need the handbrake. Right. So if it becomes defective, you're able to roll back and bang another vehicle at the back. So make sure that you always check. As you drive in, as you check your mirrors and you start your vehicle, make sure the handbrake is down to avoid expensive costs.
Wow. I mean, a lot of people, as you said, subconsciously do little things that will end up ruining their cars. What is the one that you find people talking about the most?
I think the one that I've seen many people doing is something called coasting, or basically kuweka gari free. Be it a manual or automatic. That's a very risky behavior,
right?
Because it endangers you. So when you disengage the gear, be it a drive on a manual, there is something called the brake boost. All right, it relies on a brake pressure that is created with the engine momentum. All right, so when you disengage and put it on neutral, that brake pressure goes down and it assumes your vehicle is on idle. So the brakes are not as effective as they would be. So imagine you're doing 80, 100, and then you put neutral. If something was to happen and you need to brake suddenly, the brake force would not be enough. So coasting makes your journey become very, very dangerous, and you need to be careful. Do not coast, because at the end of the day, you are endangering yourself and your life and your family. So please do not coast. Again, you've seen on hills, like if you're traveling up country where there are climbing lanes, there's no free gear, because the chances of you not stopping effectively are extremely high if you're on freewheeling, basically freewheeling. So please avoid that for your own safety.
Wow, there's a lot of things people do. I don't know if it's for the fun of it, watching too many hip-hop music videos or what it is, but the last thing you've mentioned, coasting.
Yes.
A lot of people do this, and I like that you pointed that out. One of the trending topics on Kenyan Twitter this week was the freak accident in Malindi, and 15 people died. 15 people died. And one of the questions is, I'm doing all the right things, and then someone else is doing their own things.
Yes.
So I'm trying to follow all the rules. I'm doing everything Trev said, but there's always someone doing the wrong thing. Let's talk about public transport.
Yes.
What do you think some of these driving habits that can ruin Mathris and public vehicles? Because we see them do these things, but it's important to talk about it.
Now, here's the thing. The public transport sector is very important for economy because they're actual drivers. They distribute goods and services and people from point A to B. So without them, our economy will not be running. So we need them. Here's the thing. We don't have strict measures in place to ensure that even the drivers that are being licensed to run a public service vehicle are able to manage and maintain the vehicle and drive safely. Because you've been in these matatus for the different routes. They drive like crazy. And you assume, this guy is carrying sacks or people, because these are people right there, So number one, I think the most important thing is for government to be extremely sensitive and emphasize the fact that you need driver training every year. If you go to advanced countries, before you get your PSV license, you have to go for a mandatory exam and you pass, and then you're given your license for the year. Now, if you decide to do things differently and you get caught up with a traffic offense, your points are deducted, and that's something that's coming with the new NTSA system,
Right.
where they basically have points, say, from 1 to 10. So if you're caught for the first time, 2 points are docked from your your DL. And next one, the third one, the DL is taken back from you. You're not able to drive in the country for 6 months. If it is extremely severe, you're banned for life. Okay?
Wow.
So that would create something that would prevent accidents from happening, because a driver wouldn't want to lose their license, others will not make a living.
Right.
Number two, we need to re-emphasize the fact that safety starts with us. Don't bother matatu and the seatbelt is not working. Ask why, or just deboard. It's important for you to know that. And even for the matatu owners and the SACCOs, it's imperative for them to create that culture of maintaining their matatus. Okay, so do regular service. Partnerships are there. Because matatus just run on end. It can go for like even 100 kilometers in a day. It doesn't stop. There's a next driver who's changing shift. So we need to take care of that aspect, making sure that these vehicles are well maintained. But when it comes to now driver habits, again, it's important to sensitize that driving is a continuous process. You can't put a novice in a matatu.
Right.
You need to make sure that things happen like that.
And I like that you pointed out about there needs to be penalties, the repercussions for the things you do. And also for the matatu owners to also have these conversations. I like that you mentioned annual training, not just to assume, Njoro's been with me for 16 years, so I'm sure I trust him enough. When lives are lost and, it's, as you said, it's expensive to maintain a vehicle.
Yes.
And you're talking about, what that entails. I like that you aired that. We've got another interesting conversation coming up, and you can plug in as well. Do follow using the hashtag Spice Drive and Car Culture KE. Trace Sticks F1. I loved what's on Instagram and the spread that you had throughout the week. So guys, if you managed to check it out, make sure you pop in. It is your show. Come through with the questions that you have. We are live, spicefm.co.ke. You can check out, you can listen. We're live from Nairobi on 94.4. Hit us up with your questions. We've got another conversation coming up in the next hour. I'm going to be dropping Miss Dynamite. It's a really good song. And we're going to be talking about the top 3 pickups in Kenya.
Correct.
You look like you would drive a monster pickup.
Yes,
Trev.
yes. Without pointing fingers, but it's called the Blue Oval, and I'm going to talk about that. I'm looking forward to it.
Fantastic. And of course, keep plugging in on today's Trendwell. Thank you so much, Annalise, for calling in. And of course, lines are still open. In the next hour, we continue to do God's work. And of course, that's on today's DM. We're going to try and fix it. My number is 0719012600. More hits, more throwbacks, because it's Throwback Thursday. Flo, good to see you on the timeline. Welcome to this hour. It is the Spice Drive, the only way to get home and stay home. I hope you're keeping safe. I hope you've got your mask on. And shout out to everyone sharing throwback content, throwback music, throwback pictures. I love it. This is your official throwback station. And you can also plug in on the hashtag Spice Drive, Spice FMKE on every single platform. I've got The Locks with Money, Power, Respect. And I've also got Will Smith with Cruising, just cruising. It's perfect because I've got Big Boy Trev in the studio. So many conversations on here. And it's important that we talk about how people drive. Sometimes you're just trying to beat that rush. There's this anxiety people get just to make sure they're home by 8. And we always emphasize here on this show, make sure you just, take it easy. Plan your commute accordingly. If you're using public transport, it's important to also do your part and make sure that, if things are not going the way you want them to go, you can get off. I like that you said that, Trev.
Yes.
That's our responsibility.
Yes, it is your responsibility, because at the end of the day, you made that conscious decision to get into that public service vehicle. So it boils down to us and being very strict. And I think the second thing is, as well, from a community perspective, as you mentioned earlier, it's all about sensitizing the fact that all these SACCOs are responsible for the drivers within their SACCO. So you find one rogue driver spoiling the name of other good drivers, because I'm not saying that everybody's a bad driver,
right?
But there are those elements, those rotten potatoes that spoil that. And it boils me down to one thing. You mentioned something about you've done everything that Big Bird Trevor said. You drive carefully, you do this and that, and then bang on, somebody who's reckless comes and you're in a situation. There's something called defensive driving, which I think we'll talk about it later on. But defensive driving basically is the ability for you to predict right what's going to happen to you. Your situational awareness is 360, and it's ahead. You're thinking ahead of everyone who's around you. So they normally say, think of it, you're the same driver, everybody else is a madman. So you expect what somebody would do. All right. So sometimes when you're driving, you tend to veer off into your thoughts. But being conscious of what's happening around will help you save so many lives. I remember I did that course in South Africa, and we were being trained how to drive defensively. Even just on highway driving, there's defensive driving. So assuming you're driving down the road, there's minimal traffic, so there's oncoming traffic. The first thing that you need to note on your surroundings is the shoulders. How big are the shoulders? In case of anything, am I able to veer off safely and stop the vehicle? Number two, the speed that I'm driving. If it's something over 100 kilometers an hour, it would be difficult for me to stop in case of an accident or a situation I'm trying to avoid something. Number three, oncoming traffic. Notice how the driver is coming. There is some erratic nature. Slow down and move towards your left, so that in case of anything, you have enough room to escape. And I've seen even videos last week. I saw some Probox driving crazily, I think on the Nairobi-Nakuru highway, and he was driving recklessly. And you know what happened? As he was overtaking, there was a truck that was coming, oncoming. And this is somebody who's transporting people. So he was trying to evade, but the truck was also too fast because he was a poor judge at judging oncoming speed. So that is recklessness in my view. And for NTSA, for the government agencies that are responsible for us getting our licenses, I think it is mandatory for everyone to do that test every year. That is one of the ways we'll keep ourselves sober, because you might have done driving or you've learned from maybe, your friends, whatever.
But 2020 changed you.
Correct.
Just an angry person. And I hear what you're saying.
Yes.
And I've got a comment on this. Stephen says the problem with our public transport is conflict of interest. Some of these entrusted with enforcement are the owners or part owners of the PSVs. And, especially the truck drivers and the trailers. These are the notorious. These are the notorious ones. And when you see it, you just expect that crazy. You see that thing you're talking about, that you kind of go like, I don't want to be part of this. And there's great drivers out there, but I like what you said. You have to have it at the back of your mind. You're the same driver and everybody else is crazy.
Correct.
It's a good conversation to have. And we're going to be getting into the treadmill topic. More requests are coming in. It's Throwback Thursday. And we're talking about trucks, pickups, depending on which part of the world you're in. Some people call them trucks.
Trucks, yes, in the United States.
Right? And others call them pickups.
Yes.
So the best pickups.
I'm going to start with I won't give it like a variation, but the top pickups. So if you're looking for a workhorse that will take you from point A to B, carry your goods and services, there are pickups for that. All right. And our market is very diverse, but you have the big boys. So I'm going to start Tata. Tata is an Indian company. And you've seen Tatas around?
I have.
Yes.
Everywhere.
Yeah. They're very synonymous in the construction business. And the reason is it's pretty easy to fix and maintain. They're very simple. And simplicity is everything, because it means if it breaks down, you're able to fix it quite quick. Now, Tata's been in the country for 30 years now? Over 30 years. And they have a line of pickups. They're called Xenon.
Oh,
so
that's older than me. That's that's a long while.
So this Tata, I've been impressed by them because they've really improved when it comes to building a tough, reliable vehicle, because the conditions in India are similar to Kenya. So don't overheat. The suspension is fantastic just for us in here, and you're able to carry a lot. And they're actually sort of like half price of what you probably get. Now, the second brand that I'd like to speak about is Isuzu. Just right here across the road. Isuzu with the D-Max has been synonymous in the pickup business now for 50 odd years. 50. The Chevlav, you remember the Chevlav coming to the KB series all the way to now the D-Max. It's been there for quite a while. They've built pickups for a long time, built for this country, and they're known for workhorses. You'll find even when you go to rural areas, those Wazes still have those Isuzu. So there's a reason for that. It's because those things are tough and durable. So we love them, and it's extremely important.
Right.
Now it comes to the high volume sellers. So Nissan with the Navara / hardbody, also been there about 40 years as well. The NP300, which was the Atoti back in 2002, then was a very tough pickup. It was cutting edge in 2002 because it had like airbags and things like that. But now the Navara replaced it. Fantastic. Also very comfortable. Now you're seeing a shift where pickups are not only are based on just carrying, but also comfort, right? And then now that brings us to Toyota Hilux. Also one of Kenya's favorites, because they normally say the car in front of you is a Toyota. So the Hiluxes, and if you go to Meru, you'll see them carrying Mira and all sorts of things. And the reason why people love them is because they're quite fuel efficient. They're light, fuel efficient, and of course got plenty of power. And the resale value, because most people will buy in and then sell it after a period of time.
Right.
But the one that I do like, I unbiasedly love, is Ford. The Ford Ranger changed the game completely. They brought luxury into the pickup. Pickups were not viewed as luxury vehicles. If you've been in a Ford Ranger, you'd understand what I'm saying. Plenty of power, and the specs are similar to what you probably find in a European vehicle.
I mean, it's gorgeous.
I mean, I'm telling you, it's an amazing vehicle, very powerful, and it's built in South Africa. And I'd like you to go to our YouTube page on CBBT, where I did actually the Ford Silverton plant. And I showed people how the Ford Ranger is built. So please head on to CBBT_TV on YouTube, and you'll be able to see quite a lot of that. So those are the top pickups: Tata, Isuzu, Ford, and of course Toyota.
Very nice. I mean, I see myself in a truck. I mean, I think it's very masculine for me, but there's something about this Ford Ranger that you've mentioned. It's kind of glossy and cute, and you mentioned the practicality, and things are changing. It's also about comfort other than practicality. So a lot of people are, expanding their needs and what they're looking for in a pickup. So make sure you follow Traystix F1, #CarCultureKE. Trev, we can find you over the weekend on Cars with Big Boy Trev, KTN Homes Sunday.
Yes, Sunday 6:30 p.m. Please, this week we're going to talk about a vehicle that Kenyans love, the Toyota Prado. Okay, so if you're thinking of buying an elective post in the coming electioneering
or
cycle,
any cool dad,
please tune in. We're going to talk about the new one for 2021. It's got more power.
Right.
It's more comfortable. It's got a good sound system. You can listen to your Roomba if you're a dad or a politician. It's got all the, it's got a cooler box. It's very cool, and it looks good. And of course, we're going to give you the value analysis against the competition. So please make sure you tune in Sunday 6:30 p.m. KTN Home. I'm going to talk about it as well next week on Wednesday on the newspaper as well. So make sure you grab a copy of the Standard Motor Digest every Wednesday. I'll talk about that particular vehicle. Then of course, when it's Thursday, it's all about car culture, and I get to hang out with you and we talk about plenty of cars. So make sure you tune in. So make sure our channels: YouTube, CBBT_TV, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Please follow us. And then finally, working on a new project as well with Digger Classifieds. Please make sure you visit if you are looking for a vehicle right now with the best deals on wheels. Please visit Digger Classifieds. You can either go to standardmedia.co.ke or go to diggerclassifieds.co.ke. Make sure you select your vehicle, and probably you'll see my face or two there. So it's something that's really coming, and I'm going to talk about it later on.
Yes.
But it's a new project. I'm quite excited.
Wow, I'm excited for you. Fantastic. And speaking of looking for cars, I'm going to be talking to you. You have taught me quite a lot. And I love this every single Thursday. And as he said, Sunday, 6:30, KTN Home with Trev. It's going to be Cars with Big Boy Trev. And Sundays are all about KTN Home because you can have fun answering and winning big. Lots of amazing questions to answer while you help transform lives only on The Big Quiz Show. The Big Quiz Show is a weekly 1-hour interactive TV game show hosted by Betty Challo and Eric Omondi, where you can put your knowledge to the test by answering simple questions from the comfort of your home using your mobile phone. The fastest, most accurate answer is guaranteed to win instant prizes with a total of 2 million Kenya shillings up for grabs every week for 100 winners. The show is also donating 25% of its proceeds to PCA Thogoto Home for the Aged. And all you need to do to participate, let me tell you, you could just win. You could just be a millionaire. All you need to do is text JOIN 23774. 23774. Only persons above the age of 18 will be allowed to participate. Tune in this and every Sunday, 8 p.m. on KTN Home. And straight from Cars of Big Boy Trev.
Yes.
You just add more popcorn and you sit and chill. Lots to watch. Good TV right there just for you. Before I let you go, Trev, today we were talking about transactional relationships and the definition of that. When you get into a relationship and we both know why we're here. It's a business contract.
Yes.
It's almost like a lot of people are saying, well, wow, that's familiar. It sounds like every relationship these days. And what we wanted to do was talk about the pros and the cons. When I come to you, as soon as we begin, dating or we set off to, start our family as a married couple, I think people find it fair that you come and say, look, I'm just looking for A, B, C. There's people in transactional relationships and they probably don't even know it. And it's heartbreaking that people are still looking for love. Yeah. However, not everyone is looking for love. Do you think the popularity of these transactional relationships has a reason? What is it with our generation? What's going on?
Here's the thing. Our generation and those that are coming after us don't have those values that our parents used to have.
Right.
Where family was everything and, one person, one marriage and things like that. So those values are slowly eroding, and I blame it not only on the parents but generally the society, because we're now focused on so many things. Westernization, let me be a little bit conservative. Westernization, as I call it,
right,
where transactional relationships are very big. It's now seeping into our society, right? So you get into a relationship saying, what's in it for me?
What's in it for me? Are you going to pay my bills or what?
Yes.
I can carry a child.
Yes.
Thank you.
So if you're looking for a baby and you're looking for financial stability, then perhaps if you bring the two together, then all the boxes are ticked. And there's one sort of relationship I want to highlight. If you've been to Europe and you've seen Africans, so you've gone into Europe through other ways, and you want to stick in Europe because Europe has a better way of life, social, everything is done meticulously. So the only way to get yourself a passport is to get married to somebody from
and that makes it
Europe.
Automatically transactional.
Correct. So I know a few people who are already in it, so that get together, get married, and one of the questions that the counselors will ask you in Europe is, are you sure that you want to marry this person, or is it a transactional? They're very clear because they know.
Yeah.
But you can't stop somebody from loving someone, loving, quote unquote. So what happens? They, you get married, you get your papers, and then they divorce.
And we all know what we're in for.
Correct.
So does it make it better that from the get-go, this one right here is not founded on love?
I think so. Not knowing is being, you don't have that lack of cognizance. You need to understand what you're getting yourself into, because if you become aloof, I don't want to know what's happening, then you'll be used.
We can grow into love together.
Yeah. And then either you'll be disappointed or you'll be happy. So some of this, that's why you hear in those advanced countries, a life partner. So we're not getting married, but we're together. Yes.
And you're like, they have a very clever way of kind of describing it.
Correct.
Yeah, my life partner.
Yes. And then you hear the terms like open relationship, or is it, is it a mutual relationship?
Right.
Are we exclusively dating? Or
right. What are we doing?
Yeah.
It's a transaction. It's a business deal. It's a business arrangement. Any advantages? Any advantages in this arrangement? In this kind of relationship?
I think in our day and era, there are a bit of advantages because the moment somebody takes away love from emotion from logic, then it becomes clearer. All right. So you get into the relationship knowing that you're managing your expectations. This is what I'm getting myself into. This is what is expected of me. And this is the outcome. All
exactly.
right?
Because the argument with some people is even the ones that we call, normal, healthy relationships with no red flags.
Yes.
They have all the indicators of this is a healthy relationship, it's a healthy marriage.
Correct.
Still have elements of people transacting.
Yes.
And the act of I'm there because he provides. It's an abusive relationship, but I stay because he provides. She's the mother of my children, so I need. It's like there's an element of need constantly, even in the other relationships that would describe as other.
Correct.
It's not transactional, but we're still transacting on a daily basis. It's like everyone wants something from someone.
Yes.
And just to separate that, I like that you gave that perfect example. Look, I need my documents. I'm not going to struggle for it.
Yes.
I don't know what you need, but this is what I have. Can you help me? Can you give it to me? And I'll give you what you want. And it's an interesting thing to see that the popularity of transactional relationships, all-time high, especially in the last 5 years.
Correct.
So our children may never even know what real love is.
Yes.
They'll be like, huh?
And unfortunately, it's sad because at the end of the day, they look at it like, what is real love? Because the society we're growing
What
in,
am I getting?
it's what am I getting? That's it. If I'm not getting anything that I want, then there's no point. And you find even people arguing very baseless arguments, which I call them baseless, because when you put logic too much into a relationship, then it's not a relationship. It's a
Right.
situationship. Basically, you're getting into some form of union because of a situation.
Exactly.
So it's a situationship, in my view. And that destroys the whole aspect of, dating and being in this town. But again, with the changing culture,
Right.
one is forced to react and change.
Wow. Trev, I don't even know you anymore. I've got a comment here from Flo. She says, well, right now, since I'm single and I don't see myself falling in love with anyone, maybe such an arrangement could do. Wow, she put it out there. There's no such thing as a right or wrong answer. The conversations continue. And yes, you can plug in and talk to Big Boy Trev. He's very accessible, by the way, throughout the week. So make sure you follow and chat him up. And whatever it is you want to know about cars, he is available. Always a pleasure talking to you, Trev.
Thanks, Dennis. Thanks for having me.
And you heard that song.
Yes.
Gonna make this a night to remember. Get ready, get ready. We've got Shalimar
Yes.
and Mace. I don't know who you're banking on.
Shalomar.
I don't know you, Trev. And you're like, they have a very clever way of kind of describing it.
Correct.
Yeah, my life partner.
Yes. And then you hear the terms like open relationship, or is it, is it a mutual relationship?
Right.
Are we exclusively dating? Or
Right. What are we
it's
doing?
yeah.
It's a transaction. It's a business deal. It's a business
Correct.
arrangement. Any advantages? Any advantages in this arrangement? In this
I
kind of
think in our day and
relationship?
era, there are a bit of advantages because the moment somebody takes away love from emotion from logic, then it becomes clearer. All right. So you get into the relationship knowing that you're managing your expectations. This is what I'm getting myself into. This is what is expected of me. And this is the outcome. All right.
Exactly. Because the argument with some people is even the ones that we call, normal, healthy relationships with no red flags,
Yes.
they have all the indicators of this is a healthy relationship, it's a healthy marriage,
Correct.
still have elements of people transacting.
Yes.
And the act of I'm there because he provides. It's an abusive relationship, but I stay because he provides. She's the mother of my children, so I need. It's like there's an element of need constantly, even in the other relationships that would describe as other.
Correct.
It's not transactional, but we're still transacting on a daily basis. It's like everyone wants something from someone.
Yes.
And just to separate that, I like that you gave that perfect example. Look, I need my documents. I'm not going to struggle for it.
Yes.
I don't know what you need, but this is what I have. Can you help me? Can you give it to me? And I'll give you what you want. And it's an interesting thing to see that the popularity of transactional relationships, all-time high, especially in the last 5 years.
Correct.
So our children may never even know what real love is.
Yes.
They'll be like, huh?
And unfortunately, it's sad because at the end of the day, they look at it like, what is real love? Because the society we're growing
What
in,
am I getting?
it's what am I getting? That's it. If I'm not getting anything that I want, then there's no point. And you find even people arguing very baseless arguments, which I call them baseless, because when you put logic too much into a relationship, then it's not a relationship. It's a
Right.
situationship. Basically, you're getting into some form of union because of a situation.
Exactly.
So it's a situationship, in my view. And that destroys the whole aspect of, dating and being in this town. But again, with the changing culture,
Right.
one is forced to react and change.
Wow. Trev, I don't even know you anymore. I've got a comment here from Flo. She says, well, right now, since I'm single and I don't see myself falling in love with anyone, maybe such an arrangement could do. Wow, she put it out there. There's no such thing as a right or wrong answer. The conversations continue. And yes, you can plug in and talk to Big Boy Trev. He's very accessible, by the way, throughout the week. So make sure you follow and chat him up. And whatever it is you want to know about cars, he is available. Always a pleasure talking to you, Trev.
Thanks, Penny. Thanks for having me.
And you heard that song.
Yes.
Gonna make this a night to remember. Get ready, get ready. We've got Shalimar
Yes.
and Mace. I don't know who you're banking on.
Shalomar.
I don't know you, Trev.